Arch Manning, Arch Manning, Arch Manning, Arch Manning. Arch Manning, over the last weekend, had an official visit to Texas. This concludes a very, very busy June. He, the number one prospect in the class, he took his official visit to Georgia, and he got all the photos in the Georgia gear. He took his official visit to Alabama. He did a 7-on-7 camp at LSU, and this past weekend he was in Austin. And Danny, were you there?
I mean, we might have been frequenting the same restaurants, Suerte, ATX Cochina. I mean, hitting all the hot spots. It's extremely, I will say this. I like to eat nice restaurants when we're around college football weekends, traveling around. I have never been in a city where it's harder to get a reservation anywhere. I'm talking middle of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You have to eat at 5:00. I'm guessing Arch Manning didn't have a hard time getting any reservations anywhere he wanted to eat. But that was my one thing I've noticed here in Austin. But yeah, they had him here, and I'm sure they gave him the full superstar treatment here in Austin, no doubt.
So that means it's just as we've talked about, Alabama, Georgia, Texas. He did the camp at LSU. But one thing that's come out of the visit that stood out to me is Texas seems to be just like totally pot committed, as you might be. But of course, Alabama went and got 4-star quarterback Eli Holstein to make sure that they have a quarterback in the class. I'm not sure what Georgia's quarterback plan is, if they don't end up landing Arch Manning. But we are about to go into an Arch Manning dead period as the recruiting dead period hits. The reports are he's going to sort of take the next month. Dead period lasts until July 24th. Get with his family, figure out what their timeline is, figure out what their game plan is. But the reports coming out of Texas, where is Texas in this? They don't have the on-field success that Alabama or Georgia do. They don't have that long run of quarterback development. Certainly, I mean, Steve Sarkisian, he has Mac Jones and a little bit of his own history of getting great offenses out there. But there is reportedly just a tireless effort to just be nonstop in Arch's ear, talking to his people, being as much as you can be. And this is Steve Sarkisian. This is quarterback coach. What's Milwie's first name, bud? AJ Milwee.
Yeah.
Those dudes have been just on top of like old school, because you can't get Arch with NIL. You can't get Arch with anything.
Are you sure? I was thinking about this because I'm here in Austin. Facilities are insane. Like every single sport is insane. We're just, and I would agree with you. Here's my thought. I would agree with you. All of them are on par, right? Like they can all offer the same sort of package. But is there a school like Texas who's similar to the Live Golf Tour, who is just blowing these offers or blowing it out of the water, so much so that golfers are giving up their PGA Tour status? Is there the chance that Texas is in a position where they are more desperate than Alabama or Georgia to be relevant, to be back? And I would suggest that they probably have the resources from similar types of money background, not the murderous side and not the human rights violation side, but the oil backing side of it, where they might be able to cut a similar style of deal with Arch that would blow everybody out of the water. Because I am curious to know. That was my initial thought, was like you, Chip. Like, you're not going to impact him with money.
Right. He's a Manning.
But money talks no matter who you're talking to.
And another aspect of it, too, is like, yeah, clearly his family has money. He's probably not going to have to worry about much for the rest of his life, but none of that money is his yet. And Texas, the money from Texas would be his. So I do think that it's probably not the top priority, but I think to say that it's not going to have an impact is.
I like that.
Correct.
No,
yeah.
That's a very fair point. I mean, it's like, can Sark and this Texas staff, Bud, do you think that they're just going to be able to go so hard? It seems like they are desperate. Like they're calling them every single day. Like they are absolutely, putting themselves in the position to just grovel at his feet. And I don't know, is it going to work?
I don't think that, first of all, I don't think it's going to be about NIL, right? I mean, I think it's, I just don't.
I would tend to agree with you. I was kind of making the case for.
It's a great point. I like it.
Right down to the point of like, is Live a good business decision as a golf tour? No. Is it a good business decision if you're trying to get people to invest in the Saudis? Probably so. Like, yeah. almost like you could just overpay to that extent, right? Like, does it actually make a good business sense? You get turn a profit? No, but if you win, cool.
Which for Steve Sarkisian might be worth it.
Correct.
Like,
it's a great business decision for Steve
does
Sarkisian.
landing Arch Manning commitment, does bringing him to Texas, is it worth sacrificing whatever else you have to sacrifice possibly?
Yeah, I mean, I think you have some really interesting choices here. You can never really count out Alabama, even though they do have another commit already. I think if you're Arch, you go in there thinking, I don't care. Like I'm Arch Manning. Even though they try to downplay it and they've kept his recruitment very much bottled up and they've not made a media circus out of it like they could have. They've really tried to limit availability and just let him be a kid, which is pretty cool, honestly. But
is that only because Manning Plus isn't out yet?
I think so. How long is Saban going to coach, right? Does Georgia ever actually open up its offense? I'm of the belief that they intended to, and then guys got hurt, right? They brought in JC Daniels for a reason. How long is Sarkisian going to be at Texas? Are they actually going to get things turned around? There is some question of uncertainty, even amongst these three great historic programs, that he's considering, right? But I guess you could say that anywhere, right? Like if he was considering Ohio State, would you say, hey, could Ryan Day jump to the NFL? Like there's always some kind of questions, and it's crazy we're going to nitpick, Bama and Georgia and maybe Texas.
Especially after this offseason when we saw Brian Kelly leave Notre Dame and Lincoln Riley leave Oklahoma. You would have said that, before the season started last year, everyone would look at each other like you're crazy. It's just a new environment.
I will say it would not shock me if he fits at the Manning passing camp later this month.
Ooh. But he would have to announce it like in advance. He wouldn't surprise everyone, right? Like we would have to make this a televised event.
What if he has? Here's what he needs to do. He needs to have the table set up for the press conference, and he's got the hats out in front of him. And then you have Peyton pick up one, you have Eli pick up one, and they toss it out, and then he pulls out the other one and puts it on his head.
And somehow it's an Illinois hat.
Yeah. So the Manning Passing Academy. What is will Bryce Young be there? Will Quinn Ewers be there? Will Stetson Bennett the fourth be there? Do we know who the lineup of counselors is?
What about DJU?
Will Stetson Bennett be his water boy at the Manning Passing Academy? Is that the question you're asking?
Yes.
I'm looking for this.
I bet they are. I mean, they have the top quarterbacks in the country come as counselors, so it would be the least surprise. I mean, I think they probably all are going.
I will say,
Bennett, catch it. You know how there's the one player who catches it, but then hands it to the quarterback.
Wow.
Is that because you don't want to hurt your hands, Danny? What is
apparently?
That?
Yeah, I think it was that thing. Like you get to a certain level where it's beneath you to have to catch the ball. I always kind of like catching the ball, right? But it definitely becomes a status symbol. I'm gonna have a guy catch for me for sure.
It's the coach or wide receiver just sits there like, I throw so hard, we can't risk our quarterback's hands.
We do need to get an update on the Manning Passing Academy website. Have you guys? I'm gonna drop this in the private chat. The last update we have on this is from 2019. Stetson Bennett will be there, according to Jordan.
Stetson Bennett will be there. Oh, Georgia's in the mix. If Stetson Bennett is willing to catch the passes during workouts for Arch Manning, that could be the deal breaker here.
What if we had, if you're the Mannings, though, I know you've kept this thing low key. Don't you blow it out and bring a real elephant if he goes to Bama, or actually bring Bebo in, run Bebo through the Manning Passing Academy, or people have held up a bulldog before, so maybe not Uga.
Yeah. Don't you think they're going to do don't you think the Manning way is all business? Hey, this is about they're going to take the low key approach. I think
they're going to spend 5 minutes thanking each school, and then all right, I'm going to wherever. Really appreciate it. Look forward to working hard and keep them head down. Hopefully, have a great education, great college experience, and also make a lot of money to go to the NFL.
If he doesn't announce at the Passing Academy, that just gives us more time to script the Arch Manning commitment announcement. And then if he continues to drag this out until November, we might as well shoot our own and just have somebody be Arch Manning.